All right. Are you ready? Let's roll, nerds. Okay, Brock, you got an arraignment?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's rock and roll.
Morning, how are you?
Hey, what's new, man?
Mr. Louis Etchelberger.
Come on up.
7 and 8.
All right, so you are Mr. Etchelberger.
Yes, sir.
So you're charged with 2 cases. You're charged with interference with the duties of a public servant. You're also charged with criminal mischief.
Hold up. Interference with a public servant and criminal mischief? Sounds like someone turned a breakup into a demolition derby. Let's see just how much damage $45 worth of destruction can cause in court. Spoiler, it's more than you think.
Those cases, you're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you, sir. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
Sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, law enforcement officers were dispatched to a disturbance call in Harris County, Texas, and made contact with a complaining witness who stated that on April 28, 2025, she observed a prior resident, the defendant, cause damage to the apartment complex after a breakup with a significant other. The complaining witness stated that the defendant broke 3 flower pots and damaged 3 trash cans for a total of $405 worth of damage. On April 29th, the defendant came to the leasing office and demanded property I believe that was left. The complaining witness asked the defendant if he was the one that caused the damage. The defendant stated he was not. Complaining witness and a witness then tried to get the defendant to leave due to him causing a disturbance. The defendant pushed his way through complaining witness and a witness. A law enforcement officer on scene serving civil papers attempted to detain the defendant. The defendant was able to get away and run from that law enforcement officer. The defendant was later
So the defendant bolts from an officer serving civil papers. Yeah, that's like running from the mailman. The judge is about to dig into whether that even counts as interfering with official duties. Let's break down this legal gray zone.
detained when other law enforcement officers arrived on scene.
So the mischief, it's at an apartment.
That's correct.
His apartment?
I believe he was a prior resident of the apartments, Your Honor, and the property belonged to the apartment complex.
And that was my question this morning, Your Honor. I haven't stayed in an apartment in a long time, so typically apartment complexes don't give their property at a residence specific apartment complex.
You mean furnished?
Furniture, it's flower pots. I mean, why would an apartment complex have their flower pots out in front of a resident's apartment?
3 flower pots and 3 trash cans. Who knew landscaping drama could get you 6 months in jail? The judge is now untangling property ownership like it's an episode of Law and Order Garden Edition. Stay tuned.
Okay, what all was allegedly broken again?
3 flower pots and 3 trash cans, Your Honor.
Are you saying it belongs to him? What are you saying?
I believe it belongs to him or to the partner, the former partner, the leasees, the people that lease the actual
Because
premises.
if it belongs to the other person, then it's a criminal mischief. You can't break someone else's property.
But he's not the complainant. The complainant is the leasing manager for the apartment complex. They're alleging that the property belongs to the apartment complex.
Your Honor, from the DEMS it says that each 3 trash cans were $35 each. They're placed outside for residents to use for trash bags on all 3 levels of Building 8, causing the property to...
So it's like, it must be, cans that officers put out there in case anyone needs to put trash in or whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
As far as the interference is concerned, that I may have a problem with.
I don't see how that was interference.
Because what would they possibly put him in custody for?
So, Your Honor, just to clarify, what the DIMS say, and they go to the great lengths to explain this, is that there was a deputy there who was serving some sort of civil papers.
Sure.
And that he had to stop serving the civil papers to go
To chase him.
the defendant, because the defendant, there was a disturbance in the leasing office. And at some point during that disturbance, the defendant got away from the deputy serving the papers.
Correct.
It's not really clear from the information, is the serving the civil papers and having to stop that duty to go detain the defendant, or is the defendant getting away from the deputy, if that's what the basis for the where the interference is.
And that's correct, Your Honor. Richard and I spoke about that this morning.
So you don't think there's PC on the interference?
I don't think there's PC on the interference, honestly, either way. If he's trying to serve papers,
I think I agree with you on the interference,
yes, Your Honor.
but I think that there's PC to go forward on the criminal mischief.
Yes, Your Honor.
No?
I'll dump the interference.
So I'm going to find no probable cause to go forward on the interference. I don't think that they had a reason to, have you in custody or for you to interfere with.
Yes, sir.
I will find that there's probable cause to go forward on the criminal mischief. Is he staying there now or is he gone?
No, Your Honor. I think both individuals have moved away from the apartment
Okay,
complex.
so, Mr. Eichelberger, the only thing I'm going to ask you now, or I'm going to order you, is not to go back to this place, not to have contact with the complaining witness.
I understand.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
I'm also ordering you as a condition of your bond, not to be in possession of weapons as well. Because you have a lawyer, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with Brock, and he'll tell you if and when you have to come back to court. Just stay out of trouble. Don't pick up any new cases. I don't want to have to put you in jail. You
I understand.
become a danger to my community. It's not going to go well for you. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So for now, I'll have you go to Victoria, sign a reset. We'll have you take a seat in the jury box while I get your bond conditions. We'll have you sign it, and then after that, you're free to go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I be excused?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mark, do you have an arrangement?
No, there's still an arraignment.
Yeah, I don't think that there's much, but
All right, Judge, page 10, Gonzalez, come on up.
all right. Good morning, Ms. Gonzalez.
Good morning.
Ma'am, you're charged with terroristic threat of a family or a household member. That kicks it up to a Class A misdemeanor, so you were facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, ma'am. Okay.
Judge, on March 20th, 2024 in Harris County, Texas, officers responded to a terroristic threat call. The complaining witness and the defendant are sisters, and complaining witness say the defendant is not allowed to go into a residence. The complaining witness's son mistakenly let the defendant and her husband in, and they drank the beer. The complaining witness texted the defendant about her being in the residence, and the defendant responded with threatening messages that said the defendant will slap CW and show up slap the complaining witness and show up at the complaining witness's job. The complaining witness stated she feared for her safety.
What the hell does that mean? It's got to be serious bodily injury, man. Or
Yes, Judge.
are we putting everybody in jail now for whatever?
Judge, that's really all I have.
Statute.
Sure.
Okay, what was it said exactly again?
Judge, the message that the defendant sent to complaining witness states exactly, bitch, don't talk out your ass because I will go to your house and slap you in front of your family. I'll even come to your job.
That's not imminent serious bodily injury.
Don't talk out your ass because I'll slap you at a work. Direct quote. But does that rise to terroristic threat? The judge says, not today, Satan. Here's where words don't carry legal weight unless you're dumb enough to escalate.
Come on. All right, I'm gonna find no probable cause, ma'am. As the old adage says, sticks and stones, right? Words will never hurt. They actually can. You have to be careful what you say, who you say it to, because it could end you. You could end up in hot water. I'm gonna find no probable cause in this case. The idea also is that if you don't have a good relationship with someone, it's probably best not to just inject yourself repeatedly in there because you're asking for trouble,
Right.
I mean, you now know. All right, man, please. Just be careful, all right?
Your Honor, I'm filing dismissal.
Thanks. All right, ma'am, your case is being dismissed. If you want to copy the dismissal, you're free to wait. Otherwise, you're free to go. Okay.
All right, Judge, next is page 12. Guzman, come on up.
You are here, Guzman? Mr. Guzman, you're charged with 2 cases. You're charged with assault of a family member. You're also charged with driving while intoxicated. On the assault case, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. And on the DWI, you're facing up to 6 years in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you. Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. On April 29, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, a law enforcement officer observed a vehicle with an expired registration and initiated a traffic stop. The law enforcement officer made contact with the defendant driver and observed a strong odor of alcoholic beverage. The defendant admitted that he had an open container of an alcoholic beverage in the back seat and admitted to drinking 2 to 3 beers.
While driving?
It's not clear as to when the drinking occurred. I'll check further in the DEM summary. The law enforcement officer found an open 16-ounce Miller Lite can, half empty and cold to the touch under the driver's seat. The law enforcement officer observed the defendant to have unbalanced and a strong odor of alcoholic beverage. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted. A 4 out of 6 on the HGN, a 1 out of 8 on the walk and turn, and a 1 out of 4 on the one-leg stand. The defendant consented to providing a breath sample and blew a .112 and a .111.
Okay, now we have an assault, right?
Yes, sir, that one is open. And we need
Whoa. Whoa, so that was an open case.
Is it, Judge? That one was a open warrant for a few months. A non-arrest.
Okay, do you mind reading me what happened on the assault, please?
Absolutely, Your Honor. On March 1st, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, officers were dispatched to a family assault. A law enforcement officer met with the complaining witness who stated that the defendant is her ex-boyfriend. The complaining witness stated that they got into an argument over the complaining witness's inability to make him a sandwich. The complaining witness tried to stop the defendant from leaving, but the defendant closed the door on her hand. Later, the complaining witness was holding her child when the defendant bit her, causing bite marks and a bruise.
Bit her over. A sandwich? That's not a typo. This isn't just a domestic dispute. It's a pattern of violence that finally hit the radar. And biting someone while they're holding a child? That's how you lose everything, fast.
The complaining witness stated that the defendant has assaulted her before, but she never reported it.
Mr. Guzman, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case on both cases. I am ordering you as a... Can you look see any priority to the eyes, please?
Yes, Judge.
I am ordering you as a condition of your bond not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. I would think that it's freaking elementary that you're not to have alcohol in the car while you are driving. I am now taking away your privilege to drive. You are not allowed to drive for any reason. I don't care where you have to go. I don't care what you have to do. I don't care that you have to work. I don't care if there's a burning building and you have to save 50 kittens. You get into a car and drive. You will be signing an affidavit. This is a promise you're making to me that you're not going to drive. If you do, every single time that you do, I can have a contempt hearing. You can be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand me? I'm also finding that there's probable cause to go forward on your assault case, and I'm barring you having any contact with this complaining witness. There is a protective order that has been issued in this case. Get to know it, because if you do something to violate the protective order, the state can and probably will file additional charges against you. A violation of protective order, and that is the capital murder of misdemeanors. Mr. Guzman, I'm going to protect every single person in this county, whether they're on the street, whether they're on foot, whether they're on the house. And if you become a danger to my community, I only have one place for you. And I don't know who you have in this life, but if I put your bond at 10 to 20,000, if you don't have anyone to pay it, you will be stuck like Chuck in there until these cases are over with. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Any prerogative, yes?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Guzman, do you have the ability to hire a lawyer? I can have you fill out an application. I need to know everything about you. How much money you have coming in, what you're doing, what kind of car you have, any kind of retirement. I need to know everything about you, and then we'll take a look to see whether you qualify. Don't be a danger. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You get no more warnings. All right, Deputy Miranda.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Owen. Judge, we have one more.
Okay.
We're on page. We're in 22 and 23. Rooker. Rooker is sexual arraignment. Someone was attached, but from a long time ago.
I remember Mr. Rooker. So, I mean, where is he?
Rooker?
Come up, sir. Take a seat for me in the jury box. You know what? I don't. Have you reached out to her? This case is 435 days old, and I know that she has a lot of history with him. I'm ready to put these babies to bed. So, appointing another lawyer, it's going to take another month or two, and I don't want to do that. So, who are you guys?
We're his parents.
Parents? Okay.
Can we talk?
Not yet. Let me get a lawyer. I know. We're going to try to get a hold of her.
For this mom, do you want to do random drug testing
On who?
on whose mom?
Yeah.
I actually have two cases, but they're both off docket.
Okay.
One of them is, I'll give the cause number, it's 252-5198. This one, we were here on Monday. Okay, he needed to get the interlock, but he was out of town. My associate was here. You said you bond forfeited him. You said as long as he gets the interlock.
Remember? Yeah,
Yes.
remember.
And then he's already filed a supervision order. So if you could just reinstate him.
Did he get the interlock?
Yes, and he's already filed a supervision order.
Ready to go?
This is on it.
I filed it, Your Honor. We signed the contract, and I did file this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as long as you're good and you're filing
It's
it.
filed it. I've already filed it. We'll probably take a quick review, and then we should.
Okay, I'll ask. I'll let her know that you reinstated it.
I did it yesterday, so hopefully
Hopefully it did. I'll talk to her in a second.
Yeah. Okay.
And my other one, Judge, is a walkthrough.
Gonna bring him up.
He's my walkthrough guy. Yeah, he's out in the hallway. Let me grab him real quick.
You need a translator? Okay. Yeah, please.
May we approach on him?
Yes.
Okay.
And what is your cause number?
Okay.
256-1688.
You get it?
I have it. I talked to Marcus.
That's it, right?
Yes, sir.
Shh. Okay. You are Kevin Vasquez.
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Vasquez, you're charged with failure to stop and give information. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Failure to stop and give info in a Chick-fil-A parking lot. Now that's a spicy legal chicken sandwich. If you hit someone and bounce without swapping info, you're not just rude, you're criminally liable. Don't ghost at the drive-thru, folks.
On April 14th, 2025, in Harris County, Texas, law enforcement officers assigned to a follow-up investigation for failure to stop and give information. The complainant advised law enforcement officers that the defendant pulled out of a parking spot and struck the complainant's vehicle in a Chick-fil-A parking lot. Complainant advised that the defendant left the scene without providing any information. Law enforcement officers went to the Chick-fil-A and found surveillance footage of the incident. Store manager stated that they recognized the defendant as one of their store employees who was on shift that day. Store manager provided the defendant's contact information. Law enforcement officers arrived at the defendant's residence and spoke to the defendant's mother, who confirmed the defendant had been driving the motor vehicle that day, but her husband was the registered owner. Defendant contacted law enforcement officers, provided his Texas ID and insurance information, and admitted driver of the motor vehicle on the date of the accident. Defendant stated he drove out of the parking lot and felt an impact, did not see anything on the ground, so he left and went home. Defendant stated he did not call the police or file a police report.
Okay. Can you run his license, please?
Yes, Your Honor. And one other thing, Your Honor, we did get a damage estimate back, just for the damage purposes.
How much? Right.
$5,000.
But
we've
we've talked about that, Judge, and we've watched the video, and there's a lot of pictures of the damage.
And it always depends on the car.
That's exactly correct.
Lambo.
That's why it's an Audi, but it's a 2013 Audi. So I don't know, and it may be. So we'll figure it
I
out.
think we'll be able to help it.
Insurance?
I'll find out. I don't know if he has insurance, but I'll
So
find out.
according to the DIMS, the defendant had turned in insurance information over to law enforcement. I'm going to talk to the complainant, see if there was anything filed, and maybe we do something with it.
Sure. Do you see if he has a license?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll
You're not allowed to drive, Mr. Vasquez, unless you have a valid Texas driver license and liability insurance in your name. That is a part of your bond condition. If you pick up another case, if I find that you're driving without either, I will revoke your bond and put you in jail. No more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, Judge. It's eligible, Your Honor.
Okay. You have a lawyer. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with Marcos, and he'll tell you if and when you have to come back to court. So do you mind filing those conditions and then
Sure.
Marcos sign it? We're going to have conditions for you to sign. Once you sign the conditions, after that, you'll be free to go.
Your Honor, that's just no driving without a valid Texas license and
And
insurance.
no insurance, right? So we need a bond because it's in warrant status now. Roxanne, do you mind giving me a PSR? And do you want the cause number? You have it? Okay. I don't know if I see anything. If barring no criminal history, I'll set the bond at $100. I'm going to give you a PR bond now. But like I said, you will not get any more. This is your one chance. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Are you still employed at that Chick-fil-A?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so he's gonna have a ton of paperwork to sign. We'll have you go to Victoria, sign a reset now. Do not leave until you sign our bond conditions. Then you have to meet with Roxanne for your PR. Okay, thanks, Mark.
Appreciate it. Okay, just
$100. Steph, do you have the cost?
These three gold medalists as Boston dips inside and can't finish. Boston wrestling through a triple team. Here is Clark off the screen, launches, and drops a triple.
Clark off the switch, found Smith. This is now the 5th straight game for the Fever with 40 or more points in the paint. That was this game, the pace of this game. I'm not quite sure who it's benefiting. I guess you have to say the Wings right now because they're up. Clark turned the corner. But then again, here comes the Fever using the same prescription. Caitlin Clark has been able to be ball dominant the last few possessions, and she's got it.
Allen missed the opportunity for a three-point play. Baseline. Nice move by Boston. Count it.
Caitlin Clark, a name that's become synonymous with jaw-dropping range, unstoppable scoring, and basketball IQ far beyond her years.
With plantar fasciitis, but her team is beating Indiana, and that's exactly what the Fever needed to start the fourth.
That might be one of the more contested looks that Caitlin Clark has gotten tonight, and that's what she knocked.
Indiana trying to look inside. Going through this zone. Cross-court pass. Clark to Mitchell. Big three for Indiana. And it's Clark's 13 assists. This is the franchise record tire. Clark working on Cunningham. Gets inside. Clark gets it to go. And the foul. Flick into double digits.
Near the three-point line. And that's way too late with a caliber player like. And we're going to expect a big night here for Cunningham. She does a good job stepping in when she needs to.
Well, she's putting on a show here in the early going.
And she's not afraid.
Mitchell off the screen, catch and shoot, knocks it down.
We've seen this with Chelsea Mitchell.
Just missed their first 5 shots of the fourth. Here is Clark turning on the Jets. Clark gets to the rim.
When she steps on the court, something electric happens. Not just for her team, but for the entire game. From the moment she touches the ball, the tempo changes. Clark has the kind of court presence you simply can't teach.
Exactly what Christy Sides warned against. After that big win on Saturday, not having a letdown, still a long way to go here as Clark feeds it into Wheeler for the Buckets.
Definitely a miscommunication. Recognize Shatori Walker-Kimbrough has no idea right here where Erica Wheeler is. It's a great backdoor. The fourth and final meeting of the regular season between these two teams. Ionescu, sure. Clark with her 11th rebound, feeding Mitchell for three. The final save. First lead for the Liberty that didn't last long as Smith puts the Fever back on top. And a Fever.
And they need Smith in the game. And this is just a simple transition bucket.
Asia Wilson. Kelsey.